Welcome back to Healthy Living, brought to you by St. Tammany Parish Hospital. We were just speaking with Hope Gardner, a dietitian with the hospital, who is teaching us about healthy lifestyle choices and food choices for your children. She also was speaking about obesity, which is a great introduction to our next guest, Hailey Tanner,
Hi.
who is a clinical dietitian with Mary Bird Perkin Cancer Center at St. Tammany Parish Hospital. And obesity is one of the things that you talk about a lot with your patients. So I kind of wanted to start off with obesity and how it is now an actual disease and what you can do to maintain a healthy weight.
Okay. Obesity occurs when we start our chronic energy intake, so we're consuming more calories than we are expending. So having said that, there are a lot of things, a lot of aspects that influence obesity, which include our genetic makeup, some medicines that we take, so some side effects of the medicines, our environment. So kind of like Hope was talking about earlier, you know, just constantly being on the run, drive-throughs. So it's very hard to maintain a healthy weight, but two things that you can do, I like to say try to eat clean. So eat more whole foods, so fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and going back to the fruits and vegetables, they don't have to be your fresh produce. Sometimes that's hard to get, but you could do frozen. Frozen is just as good as your fresh. They are flash frozen at their peak of ripeness. And then canned, if you do canned, just make sure you rinse them before you eat them. But also trying to adopt a physically active lifestyle is very important. So if you're not physically active, just try to make some changes in your daily activity. You know, maybe walk with coworkers during your lunch hour, or park further away from your building or the store and just taking those few extra steps.
Take the stairs instead of the elevator. I mean, things, just got to make the effort for it.
Right, or if you want, and you have the time in your busy schedule, you know, maybe go to a gym. Sit down with a personal trainer and, you know, talk to them, say, this is where I'm at and this is where I want to be, and they could help devise a plan for you and to get you more physically active. You have to start small. You don't want to start with this huge workout regimen because sometimes it can deter you from going back.
It's being realistic. It's setting yourself up for success and not just going, you know, 110% right out of the box.
That's right.
We talked about maintaining a healthy weight. Part of that is portion control.
Right.
And I know you have some really cool tricks on things to kind of give you an idea of what size you should be eating of different types of food.
Well, portions, they have grown over the past 20 years. In vending machines, when you get a 20-ounce Coke, that has nearly 240 calories, and 20 years ago, a bottle of Coke was 6.5 ounces. And the calorie difference between, you know, the Coke 20 years ago and the Coke today is 160 calories.
It's kind of amazing. I'm bad about fast food, but you know, I'll go to Burger King, for example, I'll get a medium, and the drink that comes with the medium, I feel like it's a gallon of Diet Coke.
It is, yeah, and so our perception of portions are distorted now. So what we think is a normal size portion is actually too large. So, but a few tips that you talked about earlier, a few tips to think about when making your plate would be, you know, for breakfast, if you want a waffle or a pancake, it should be the size of a CD or a DVD. Your cooked rice or cooked pasta should be the size of a tennis ball, and that's cooked, not raw, but cooked. Your yield portion should be the size of a tennis ball. A baseball is a good reference for how much vegetables or fruit you should be eating. Cereal in the mornings. Cooked cereal or other cereals, dry cereals, should be the size of your fist. A good size for a portion of meat, one serving size of a piece of chicken or a hamburger should be the size of a deck of cards. That's 3 ounces.
Well, I need to do some rethinking because I'm probably eating 2 or 3 fistfuls of cereal in the morning.
Yes, me too, me too.
But you know, and one of the things, I don't know if you've come across this and this is what you share, but I had done Weight Watchers a couple of years ago. One of the best things, going back to even family mealtime, is don't bring the food to the table.
Yes.
Serve yourself in the kitchen.
Correct.
You know, so that way you're not having complete access to that at the table. You can just keep getting that mashed potato as much as you want.
And I noticed that at home, you know, when I have the meal on the table, I'm always getting more potatoes or, you know, more of something that I shouldn't be getting.
Right.
So it is best to leave it in the kitchen and not at the table with you. It's
and
a
is
great
serving
way.
yourself on a smaller plate, you know, I've heard that before.
Yes.
Is that a good way to?
It is, because that helps you put portions into perspective, you know, because we tend to want to fill up our plate.
Right.
So if you use a salad plate, it's, you know, you get that perception of those,
Right.
and those are the right portions.
Yeah. Now, one of the things you do talk about also with patients is reducing red meat consumption. And why is that so important? You want the red meat in your diet, but there's good ways to go about it.
Right. The American Institute of Cancer Research recommends that you exceed no more than 24 ounces a week of beef, lamb, and pork. But some other protein is very important in your diet. It helps you stay full. So choosing fish, chicken, beans. Beans are an excellent protein. Pair it with some whole grain rice, because that will make it a complete protein.
Right.
Eggs, nuts, those are great options for protein sources. And then also, you really want to limit your consumption of processed meats. So anything that's smoked or has any kind of preservatives or nitrates added to them, try to avoid those at all costs. You know, maybe instead of going to the deli or buying your processed luncheon meats, maybe bake a large turkey and slice it and use that as your lunch meat.
And one of the things that you do with the Cancer Center, you have this awesome program called Fighting with Your Fork. And I definitely wanted to talk about that, kind of what you do with that program. I went to one of the most recent ones, and you made this awesome, and I imagine healthy, brie and spinach soup.
Yes.
And it's not just for cancer patients, though. It's a great program. So
it's just, I offer a cooking demonstration once a month. My class is sponsored by Winn-Dixie, and I'm able to give every participant a cookbook. And these cookbooks are using whole foods, you know, minimally processed foods. Your broths, a lot of your broths, they're telling you to make from scratch, and I do. But the cream of spinach and brie soup, that was actually a broth-based soup, but it looked creamy because it was the brie that made it give that appearance.
And the class is great because it teaches you how to maintain those healthy weights and cook smartly and healthily. Not a word, but you know what I'm getting at.
Healthy.
So, well, great. Hailey, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be back shortly.